Hey guys, Dave Neal here. Today's video is about Colton Underwood and a blog written about him called Big Gay Phonies. This blog was written by Tom and Lorenzo. I'm going to read that blog in a second, but of course it's in response to Colton Underwood coming out of the closet as a gay man and what some people in the LGBTQI plus community think. Now, of course, every community, you can't put a blanket over everybody. Everyone's going to have differencing of opinions. Some might think it's good what he's doing. Some might think it's opportunistic. And it's really up for you to decide. But of course, you know, as an ally, your boy over here, heterosexual, just not my place to scrutinize him in the way that somebody as a member of that community might do. So I think it's better off if I read their blog, just a portion of it. I do recommend you going to it. I will post a link below. You can go check out Tom and Lorenzo's blog, twirling through it, and this is called Big Gay Phonies. So I'm just going to read the two paragraphs that talk about Colton, then we will discuss and read a couple of your comments. Former Bachelor star Colton Underwood gave an interview to Variety this week after his highly public coming out on Good Morning America last month. We're going to try to be kind here, because it's extremely common for newly out queer people to be a little all over the map, let's say. This is a highly emotional and probably intensely confusing time for him, and we'd like to be supportive of that. But Jesus, he's making it difficult. For one, it's perfectly clear that he shouldn't be doing this publicly at all, given the charges of stalking his ex-girlfriend or the revelation that his coming out was prompted by a blackmail attempt after he was spotted at a spa known for catering to gay clientele, which we presume to mean some sort of gay bathhouse or other space where men go to have sexual experiences with other men. He rather preciously claims he was there just to look, and rather judgmentally notes that he never should have gone to such a place. Given how recent these stalking and blackmail events were in his life, he would be much better off staying in therapy and doing the work of making amends and becoming a healthier, more self-actualized person. But Colton, like so many reality TV stars, is addicted to attention, which means not only is he doing a round of high visibility interviews on huge platforms, but he's also turning his coming out into a television show. Personally, we don't care what the guy does with his life or whether he does it publicly or privately. We do, however, care when his clear, high self-regard and privilege cause him to cast himself as the next gay savior. I'm loving this so far. When he was closeted, he allowed himself to be painted as the Christian virgin, standing up for virginity in an oversexed world. Now that he's out, he's cast himself as the Christian hero who's going to save gay kids through his masculinity. I had never seen a football player that had made it to the NFL that had been gay, growing up Catholic, he offered. I've had hundreds of gay Christian men and women who are confused in their walk with Jesus say, I felt closer to God when I came out. If it just helps a few young men and women come out and be proud of themselves and understand that all parents aren't going to be upset, his father said regarding Colton's upcoming reality series, it can save lives. In other words, the response to charges of stalking and being blackmailed after going to a bathhouse is to lean harder on the idea of his virginity, his masculinity, his Christian background, and how all of those things, rather than being symbols of his privilege or traps that kept him imprisoned, are tools for him to change the world and save lives. Again, we don't want to be cruel here, but given his behavior leading up to his coming out, which was, he admits, done out of fear and under duress rather than as a moment of brave self-declaration, there's simply no good reason for him to assume this mantle of lifesaver and society changer. It's so clear someone who needs time to work on himself, but he's so bound up in the heroic purity image underlying his white Christian background and the attention that comes from leveraging that image that he's attempting to make it his whole brand. The masculine white guy who's going to redefine gayness and save kids' lives, an image that's a lot easier and more rewarding to project than the screwed up emotional mess with sexual hangups and self-destructive behavior. Wow. That's the type of quote you might read. I'd read that 10 different times, don't listen to me butchering that. That is quite incredible there. A self-described mess is what they called him. Screwed up emotional mess with sexual hangups and self-destructive behavior. Now, look, I'm sure he could defend certain things and say, no, look, I wanted to come out, but I was this and I was that. And of course, no matter what he's going to say, I think anytime you're doing something in the public eye that involves building equity within your brand, which in layman's terms, Colton's making money. He's going to make money. He's going to keep building his brand through this. And that's what a good PR person does. But you have to understand that's going to come with a cost, because as much money and equity as you want to build within your brand as you come out of the closet, that's going to be countered by people going, hey, I got beat up when I came out and I didn't get anything for it. Not to say that the other victims or people that came out that had a different circumstance are owed anything by Colton, but it just goes to show, and I'm well aware of it, and I hope he is too, that while he is in a minority class, there are still hierarchies in all classes. And he immediately cut the line and went top of the class there. And that comes with its own, dude, you got the keys to the Ferrari. You don't even know how to drive stick. What are you doing over there? Talking about how, so the idea, excuse me, sorry about that. The idea, as they said, that he's got this reckless, and it's what I love about, about the LGBTQ community is that they've all got a common denominator of how they came out, stories, and there's a through line there. So, when they put it that he's got some sort of reckless enthusiasm, however they put it, they said it's extremely common for newly out queer people to be a little all over the map. Look, absolutely. The only problem is it's be all over the map, but you're doing that through a platform, a global platform, and you're like they said, I would do a disservice to even break it down with my own opinions on this, but the good reason to have these conversations, even though someone goes, Dave, you're not gay, so why does this even matter to you? Well, it's about using your platform to educate each other and ourselves. So not only do I get to read this, but maybe a couple thousand of you guys get to read it and go, I knew it didn't sit well with me, but I didn't quite understand why. And now you can have the perspective of this very well-written, these well-written bloggers explaining, okay, it's not just attention seeking, it's actually harmful in some ways. So do some more therapy. What's the rush, bro? You're 29. You waited 29 years and now you're going to be saving the world in 6 months. And maybe that is the Christian sort of a hero's mindset that he has to sort of be better than. I mean, the guy's got several charities. He's got the dog charity, which I still think was just to diffuse a little bit of the hate from him when everyone's like, oh, you stalked and harassed your ex. And he's like, dog charity. And everyone's like, well, it's cute dogs. It can be a cute dog and you could have still done monstrous things. And then he's got his other charity too. And it's like, at what point are we going to start auditing this guy and really make sure that he's doing the right work and not just continuing to use whatever he can and look, I understand. We're all humans. We're all trying to survive. He's trying to save his image. I'm sure, he said, it's felt life or death to him to save his image. He said he's taken pills, and I don't know if he ever used the word suicide, but he said he wished he wasn't alive. And I understand it feels life or death to think the world hates you. And Colton, look, the world doesn't hate you. They just want you to sort of be real with who you are. And like they said, sort of atone for your sins, make amends. That's so important, to make amends when you go through the steps of overcoming your past, whether it's through addiction or whatever your issues were. You got to make amends. That's a very important thing, to apologize to people that might not even care for your apology. Look, Cassie might not care for your apology. She might be over it. She might be perfectly fine seeing her own therapy. Who the hell knows? It's not about them, Colton. It's about you. Making amends is about yourself. It's about writing your course in every which way. And I know he's done a few interviews, and I know he says, well, I can't talk about it. It's bro, you knew you were being blackmailed for months. According to your timeline, you were being blackmailed for months before you decided to come out of the closet. So who's this guy blackmailing you? Is this person just waiting for you? Did you pay them? Or what? You didn't, it's illegal to blackmail someone. Did you go to the police? I understand, going to the police and, the public eye, that might not be what you want to do, but something doesn't add up. And while just, normal Denim Dave over here, I don't have the experience that some might within the community to know exactly what's up. It's interesting to hear others in the community in which he is now looking for recognition and acceptance to say, nah, I don't think so, man. You got to work this out. This ain't polished. You got to polish this before you bring it up. And maybe that's what Netflix will do. Maybe the show will be him kind of being some oh, I didn't even know gay guys could go to nightclubs or whatever. He already had some quotes I didn't know gay guys could have kids. What? What? What are we doing? You know, did you go? You went. He's college educated, right? Not to say that being college educated teaches everything here, but. And by the way, I have to say, this is a photoshopped image. I've had people think that Colton's actually selling a clone called Tract GPS. No, this is an image, of course. I made it last week. But the point is, it's like, while I'm getting used to people commenting and saying, Dave, he moved on. Cassie's moving on. Get over it. No. This is going to be something where this is the literal beginning of the PR campaigns for his Netflix show and other shows. So his idea and his publicist's ideas are attack this head on. All right, we did the Good Morning America interview, which turned into the Nightline interview. ABC got the first stab at it. They butchered it into 8 different interviews. Robin Roberts, some amazing journalists, didn't ask any hard-hitting questions whatsoever. All right, good. Now we have, and no offense to her, an unknown journalist, I've never heard of at least, for Variety, kicking Robin Roberts' butt, asking really tough questions, really holding Colton to some sort of accountability, not necessarily getting the answers that we all want, but do they think this is the end of it? Colton says, I don't want to talk about this anymore. It's like, bro, you didn't put out the fire. And if you didn't put out the fire, you don't get to say, all right, fire truck can go home now. You didn't put out the fire, Colton, and people aren't happy. All right. Thank you guys so much for checking this out. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. See you later on. Bye now.